Today I'm going to show you how to pick a lock using some simple tools that you can make yourself.
Do a standard lock. It's not real high security. It's got 4 pins inside here, and as you can see, I've made out of these are like bristles from a street sweeper. So I've just found these laying around. You usually can find them in pretty much near any curb somewhere in the street. I happen to take this one and put it on a cotter pin and taped it up. It gives it a little better grip. And as you can see, I just kind of give it a little wave. This one I put a little skinnier and a little wave. But basically, you can make something simple like this. Now, as far as getting these waves in here, I simply use a file, but you can, in a pinch, rub that sucker on the edge of a piece of concrete or a rough stone, and get those little edges for you. That will kind of help aid in opening most of the little locks. I tried to make this little tensioner. It was a little longer, and it did break. This is tempered material, so when you bend it a little too much, it can break on you. So don't be discouraged. I would find a few pieces, and they're about like this length usually when you get them. So, and this particular tensioner, and I call it a tensioner because that's what you put tension on the lock as you're going to pick it, because that'll actually make it turn. But this right here is just welding rod, and I flatten this out on one end with a little mini sledge. That allows me to put the tensioner inside, out of the way of the pins, so that it doesn't interfere with me picking it. And I put that on there, and now I left the length on here so that it would actually provide just a light bit of pressure. And what I did too is I flattened it in an opposite direction, so that it'll actually flex a little bit, and I even thinned it out a little bit to give it a little more flex. And what that does is because if it's rigid and you got to pull on it, then you're using your full force to put tension on here, and that's too much. It won't let the pins do what they need to do. So by flattening this out, it gives you a little more flexibility without putting a whole lot of tension on this. So again, this is just a standard lock. It's not real high security. I mean, a thief who belongs in jail if they're a thief, but if a thief really wants to get into something, they don't need to spend time and energy to try and pick the lock. They usually just get a bolt cutter. So this is more for if you want to retrieve the lock for whatever reason. Say you misplaced the key, but you really need to get into what you're getting into, and you don't want to just go and snap the lock off, or if you don't want to leave it unsecure for a period of time. I mean, if you have to get in it for something, but you don't want to leave something open like a gate for a length of time too, you can even put a new lock on there. This allows you to get the lock off safely and back on, and it still functions so that anybody else can't get in so easily. So anyways, so we're going to lock this, and we'll take our tensioner, and again, flatten this in. So I'm going to put this in right about there. That allows me to be able to work the pins with this. So I'm going to be putting gentle pressure. Lost my pick. Okay, again, we put a gentle pressure on here as we work that. Push on this, and we just work the tumblers up and down as we put pressure, more and more pressure here. And as we kind of work this out, the tensioner helps get the pins in place, and they just kind of fall. Once you've got that enough, you turn that enough, and the lock opens up. So, in case you missed that, let's try it again real quick. Alright, so this is locked. Put that right at the top here. That allows it to bind and put pressure on there. So you push pressure with your finger, and you just start working those tumblers up and down. So there you go. So there you go. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions on what I did here, or on any other challenges that might be something you've been having a hard time with, please feel free to leave comments below, and maybe I can help you figure out a solution. Again, we are down on the spot.